What is up, gamers? Stagswell's back at it again today with another market watch. Back from the dead, if you will. It's been a little while. Real life has gotten in the way. I moved, as you guys can see. I have a brand new mom's basement that I'm in now. Work, everything has been super busy. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's just jump straight into it. Another market watch. You guys already know what's going on. A whole lot of deals, whole lot of pickups. Stuff is way too cheap since I've been gone. And I just have an itch to talk about it. My internet just got set up like 10 minutes ago. And, I pulled all these tabs up and hit record. You already know. We're jumping straight into it. Channel Lake Frigid, $5. This is criminally cheap. Criminally cheap. Oldhim got rotated. Okay, who cares? Oldhim doesn't even play Channel Lake Frigid. Alexi is obviously the best deck. The only thing holding her back was Oldhim, and now that Oldhim's gone, she's just uncontested, undisputed the best deck. I think that LSS knows this, and I think that there's a decent chance that they'll address this in the next ban and suspended announcement. And if and when they do, what do you think happens to a hero like Icelander, right? Or maybe Ice Lexi comes back into popularity, and then Channel Lake Frigid goes crazy, and that's just one of the things that can make Channel Lake Frigid go crazy. There's also the potential they print a new Ice Hero or something like that. $5 for a card that has been historically 20 to 30 since its release is just now's the time to buy, Don't wait for the new Ice Hero. Don't wait for Icelander to come back and this to spike up to buy them and complain about the price. Just get a playset while they're cheap. It's too cheap. I think it's definitely worth it. Rosetta Thorne, only $24 for the cold foil. This one is a little bit more of a risk, but Briar really might not rotate, and if she doesn't, I could see Vincent playing this. I mean, there's also a chance Vincent plays her flail in an offhand, which is integral to her strategy, so she can't play Rosetta. But there's also a chance that with the new Rune Gate cards, that Viserai just winds up being the best Rune Blade, because he can make Rune Chance the easiest. And if he does, I'm sure he would play Rosetta Thorne. So there's just a lot of reasons to invest in Rosetta Thorne, especially at this price point. For such an old promo cold foil, we've seen what happens to these old promo cold foils before. Example, Dawnblade or something like that, right? I think it's just super worth it at this price tag. It is a little bit of a risk, so if you don't have some of these other cards, maybe this is a little bit lower on the list. But yeah, I could definitely see this card going crazy one day. Looming Doom extended art, or the extended art, is $54. Kind of crazy. Last time we talked about this card, I said it was a good pickup. I think it was $20 at the time. So it's just gone crazy on the back of the Dusk Till Dawn hype. Amnesia is only $1. Absolutely insane. Every TCG veteran out there could see the potential of this card. It's only a matter of time in this game until we have a meta that is dictated by an archetype that is dependent on the names of the cards on the combat chain. So, it's only a matter of time until Amnesia is a good side deck card into that meta, into that environment. It's not if this card will ever be good, it's when. And when it is, are you going to have your playset? I hope so. It's only $1. If that day comes and it's 2 or 3 years down the line, how expensive will Amnesia be then? It's just going to go crazy. It's definitely not going to be $1, and we're all going to wish we bought more. Death Touch, the promo from the Pro Tour, absolutely crazy. $115 for the cheapest copy. And don't say that that's not legitimate, because look, one sold for $120. This card is $115 for the extended art red Death Touch. Bonkers, but I totally get it. It's a beautiful card. When I tell you guys to go to events, this is why. When I entered the Pro Tour calling event, because no, I didn't enter the calling. I did the Go Again package for the Battle Hardened, and I got the Death Touch, I got the Disease tokens, I got the Mat. I didn't even get the Arachni, and I got the Toxifies. So I sold the Toxifies, the Mat, and the Disease tokens for more than I paid. It was $50 profit right there. And I kept the Death Touch just because, I like Assassin, so I thought maybe I would get a playset or something like that. And it's just paid dividends. So if you live in the area, even remotely, it is just so worth your time to go and enter and buy these big packages, participate, support the community, get a little bit better at the game. Just through the experience of playing good players, you'll get better. And then, maybe even turn a little bit of a profit off of the promos. It's just so worth it to go. Kind of pays for itself if you live near there, if you're not flying in, Solana, just kind of want to talk about this. It's at $280. Just don't know if people know that it's still going crazy. That's for the rainbow foil. Let's talk about the cold foil. Is 624. So yeah, this card's still crazy. I don't necessarily even think that this card will be good or played in any of the new decks. If you're a new player looking at this, don't be discouraged. I don't think you need it. Even when Prism was good in the best deck, she didn't even play this card. So yeah, don't look at this and be discouraged and think Flesh and Blood's an expensive game, because this card's not even played. Flick Knives is only $33 for the cheapest rainbow foil. Absolutely insane. Uzuri's a good deck. I think she will be a good deck moving forward. So if you don't have it, pick it up. This reminds me of like Tiger Stripe Shuko, in that only Uzi's using it right now, and it's super cheap and undervalued, just like Tiger Stripe Shuko is. Everything I'm saying about this could be applied to Tiger Stripe Shuko, except Flick Knives is also a dual class card, right? So there's also a world in which flicking knives in Ninja could be good one day. I don't know if you guys notice my camera's shaking right now a little bit. It's because I have it on a... I told you I just moved in, right? So I have everything set up, and I can't find my tripod for it. So I just threw it on the top of a cardboard box, man. We're freestyling it. So, you know, a little bit of a shake warning, I guess, if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff. Sorry about that. Shion is actually kind of cheap right now, with all things considered. More and more specializations keep getting teased, and she hasn't really gone up ever since like that initial crazy spike. $120 for the cheapest copy. I actually kind of think it's worth picking up now, crazily enough. With all these new specializations, I think her day might be coming soon. She is just like Amnesia in the sense that it's not if she's ever going to be good, it's when. One day they're just going to print enough specializations to where you can make a 40 card deck out of just good specializations, and then Shion is going to be the best deck, or one of the best decks. It's not if, it's when. They'll do it eventually, and when they do, you'll wish you had one. Grasp of the Arknight is actually, I think it's kind of cheap, honestly. It got bought out not that long ago to like 140 or something like that. It's cooled back down to 95. I think this is probably about as cheap as it's going to get for a while, especially when that set drops and people realize that it's fun and they want to play it. New players are going to be attracted to the game because of the new set and all these things, and all of these people that are going to gravitate toward Runeblade are going to need a grasp. So I only imagine this card's going to go up in the coming months. Toma fendahl. They announced like this new token you can make. I forgot what it's called. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments below. Yeah, I can't remember the name. Someone please tell me. But it basically gives go again to the next non-attack action card you play. First card that popped into everyone's head was Toma fendahl. As soon as the card got spoiled, I went and told my patrons, pick up some Toma fendahls. I had no internet, but, you know, had to tell them on my phone. Cheapest non-foil was $9. Cheapest rainbow foil is $50. I still think that the non-foils is still worth having if you don't already have them, right? Because people who are super in tune with the game and pay attention to these spoilers and things like that, they maybe have picked these up, but your average kitchen table gamer, your average, you know, player who's not hyper online hasn't picked up Toma fendahls yet, and they're not going to until like a deck tops that plays it, or a deck that wins nationals plays it, or something like that. And once they do, then this card will go crazy. I've always said that Toma fendahl was a good pickup. Longtime fans of the channel know this. Anything that manipulates action points or gives non-attack actions go again, this is like the go-to card in your head, like, oh, so Toma fendahl is good with it. So like, just think about like long-term future of the game. The more and more stuff that comes out that does that kind of thing, the better and better Toma fendahl gets. Like Kano kind of abilities, or this new token, or the dragon that gives action points. Like, there's just so many things that just synergize with this card. And you imagine in the future there's only going to be more. And it's a Majestic from the first set. Like, I could see this card just being stupid expensive one day, even for the rainbows. I think $50. I think it's cheap. I think one day we'll look back and we'll think that we were foolish for thinking that this was expensive, because I still think it's cheap. Vambrains, I think this card is actually kind of slip on for the fact that this card kind of just wrecks Ward, and it seems like the new Illusionist is all going to be based completely around Ward. So if you don't have a Vambrains, I highly recommend having one, because I think you're going to need it to play at least as a side deck card against Prism. So people might not know this. People might be trying to sell it now that Oldhim is banned, they're like, oh, we don't need our Vambrants anymore. But think about Ward. If you don't have one, pick it up. If you have one, don't sell it just because Oldhim's rotating. Grandar of Valahai, $200 for the code foil. Every now and then this card just spikes up a little bit. I think this is obviously spiking because of the new Bravo specialization. People look for any excuse to buy out the Fables. Every Fable is going to get bought out one day. This card still isn't at that point. It's still relatively affordable, relatively within reach. So if you're looking to get all of the Fables one day, I wouldn't wait too much longer on this. If they print too much Seismic Surge synergy, this card will be out of reach for you. So just kind of like sounding the alarm, your window for picking this up is shrinking. Surgical Extraction is down to $41, which is good because I'm sure everyone knows, but for those who don't know, this card's getting reprinted in the next set as the same rarity with the same Dynasty tag and everything as an apology for it being short printed in the last set. So unless you need it right this very second, I highly recommend not picking it up until the new set comes out. When the new set comes out and this gets reprinted, I could unironically see this being like a $5 to $10 Majestic. Buckle, for those who don't know, there is a buckling blow deck that has been kind of preying on Lexies by putting a -1 counter on the New Horizon with Buckle and then blowing it up with Buckling Blow, and it's Dominate, so they can't block it out or anything like that. It's a very, very good little engine. Oldhim is rotating, but Bravo's getting support, and Bravo could play all of these cards, so it's only $2 for the cheapest copy. I think if you're a Guardian guy, or if you even kind of like Guardian, it's worth having a playset of these. Alluvian Constellas is only $19, $20. That's kind of insane. There's been a lot of hint that there's going to be a arcane damage set, like where all damage presented will be arcane. If that's the case, I'm sure a wizard will come in there. If a wizard comes in there, obviously Alluvian Constellas, I'm sure it will be broken. It's always good in wizard mirrors. So yeah, $19 for a legendary. I think it's totally worth it, especially when Uprising starts disappearing from shelves. I think it's still in print, but that's not going to last forever. Rampart of the Ram set, I kind of highlight this one, but we'll just talk about all of them. All of the Oldhim cards are going down. If you wanted to sell them, I think you kind of missed your window a little bit, unless you want to just get rid of them for like half of what you paid, Personally, I'm holding on to all of my Oldhim stuff, my Rampart, my Crown, all of it. I'm just going to hold on to it and just wait for it to be good again, because obviously it all will be good again. It's just a matter of time. I think these prices are just too cheap to not hold on to them. And then on the flip side of that, if you've never been a Guardian guy and you're looking to make a profit one day, or maybe you want to be a Guardian guy, maybe it's time to start picking these cards up. Excuse me. Mordred Tide is another Runeblade card I think not a ton of people are looking at. It's $7 for the cheapest copy. A couple things to note. This is from Arcane Rising, so it's a super old card. And I think that, I don't know why, I just have a sneaking suspicion that Viserai will wind up being the best Runeblade. Just because the Rune Gate mechanic and Viserai is the best Runeblade at making Rune Chants. So it just kind of makes sense that he's going to be the best. It just depends how much generic Runeblade support they print that can banish things and allow him to take advantage of the Rune Gate mechanic. And even if he doesn't, there's a good chance that Mordred Tide could be good in Vincent. This is another Runeblade card I just don't think a ton of people have their eyes on. So if you don't have a playset, I highly recommend picking it up. Loot boxes are on sale here. $65 for the cheapest Everfest box. So that's like $250 for a case, which is kind of good when you consider like every Majestic in there is money, and now Grandeur of Valahai has gone up to $200. Like, Everfest might be worth picking up now. Don't wait for it to, because it has an unlimited printing coming. You don't want to get that. You want to get all your cards in cold foil. So I don't know, something to think about. It's a loot box for sure. Like, you gotta hit good to make your money, but if you're looking for a product to open, I think this one's kind of decent. Coax of Commotion is only $375. Crazy cheap. When PvE ever comes out, this card's going to be busted. This card's already good and played in things like Quicksilver Dory or Briar or something like that. Like, it's already a good card. It's a Majestic from Crew. Crew's underprinted. It's only $3. Like, if you don't have a playset, please get it. Snatch Rainbow Foil. I've been talking about this card since my first video. We've seen this card go. I talked about it when it was about this price. It was like $1.50. So we've seen it go from $1.50 all the way up to like $10 and then all the way back down to $2 now. I still think this is the best card ever printed in Flesh and Blood. And I'm buying it. I think everyone should be buying it. I think this card's just gonna be good forever. Especially with more action point manipulation or go again manipulation, anything like that. Snatch is the first card that comes to mind. Like, how can I make giving a card go again good? The first card is Snatch. Sonata. Cheapest rainbow foil is $8. That's kind of criminally cheap. I think the cheapest non-foil, back in the day was like $20, $30. So for a rainbow, $8, like this is just a deal. Another Runeblade card that not everyone's looking at right now. Highly, highly worth it. This is probably the best pickup of the video, to be honest. And the non-foil is $5. Also a great pickup. If you don't have these cards, you should have a play set of some kind of art Sonata. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and help the algorithm help me out a little bit. Thanks. Later, gamers.